Dumelang, good morning. My name is Mokgadi Rameetse. Today I'm addressing a topic or simplifying a topic on management control. Management control is an element in the B-BBEE Codes of Good Practice. We know that B-BBEE Codes of Good Practice have 5 pillars: ownership, management control, skills development, enterprise and supply development, the last one being SED. Today we are dealing with management control. Management control is informed by 2 legislation: the Codes of Good Practice, Employment Equity Act. And we know that Employment Equity Act deals with basic condition of employment. When it comes to the sick leave, all the kinds of leave, how you are supposed to be remunerated, the health and safety stuff, they are all in that particular act, Employment Equity Act. But today, when we are looking at this management control, we are looking at it from the context of BEE. And I want people to understand this because it's important in every organization. Even those that are going to be promoting people in their businesses, you need to have this context because it's going to help you in your own business. And even those big business who want to have people participating in the board. And you know, I think it's high time that when people are appointed at the board level, they need to be appointed because they've got expertise, because they are competent. We cannot just appoint people because they are black. And when we appoint people because they are black and they do not perform, that do not add value to us as a country, to our economy. We need to make sure that the people that we appoint at all levels are relevant for that level and they can be able to execute the task that you are giving them. So today we are looking at that. Let me start with the manager. A manager is a person responsible for controlling and administering an organization or a group of people. When you are a manager, you look after a group of people. When you look after a group of people, you need to be having competencies. You need to understand what those people are deliverables are so that you are able to also help them. So when we look at the management control as an element, we see that management control includes the employment part, include the employees part, because you cannot talk about the manager and not talk about the employee. So they are all in this element. The purpose, the objective of this management control is to increase the number of black people that are controlling and managing the productive assets in our country. Because if we can't increase the number of black people who are participating at that level, who are controlling or managing at that level, we have a problem. We know that when we look at particularly the listed companies, the black people are very few in those positions. You will only see black people participating on positions that are not critical. The ones that are participating in positions that are key are very few. So we need to make sure that we see people, particularly black people, going to higher level, participating at executive level, including the board level. And when we look at this, the measurement of black people is taking place looking at the number of staff at an occupational level against economically active population. And economically, the people that we know that are economically active population is those that are still looking for a job out there, they have not given up hope. So we look at that as a target. And that target is being issued by Department of Labor through their commission. So the whole scorecard in the management control, it starts with the board people, board participation, other executive, middle management, going down to junior management. So when you look at the board participation, it needs black people to participate, having a voting right. When they've got what we call accessible voting rights, they then participate fully because they know that their voice will be heard through using the vote that they have. When a debate comes and there's a need to vote against a motion or against an issue, the black person has a right to vote against or for that particular motion. So in a board, we see that black people participate through accessible voting rights. And I want us to look at other executive. Other executive, these are the managers that are in the executive committee. Usually they'll call them exco members or menco members, meaning management committee members. So those falls under executive. Middle management are these ones that are looking after some of the departments within the business, and this can differ from a small organization to a big organization. It's not, you can't explain it in one because it differs. When we look at the scorecard, when we look at the management control on the scorecard, we see that there is measurement category and criteria. There's a weighting points, there's compliance target. So we'll start with the board participation. Board participation, it has 6 points on the board participation. We see that there's accessible voting rights for black people, which gives 2 points, and accessible voting rights for female, which gives them 1 point under the weighting points. And we see on the executive part, the executive part is the executive part of black people, which has 2 points, and we see the executive part of the female directors in the business, which has 1 point against the compliance target of 25%. We also have other executive management. These are the ones that I spoke about to say they sit in the executive level or management committee. These are your HR directors, your transformation directors, managers, they sit there. So in there we look, there's 3 points there. There's 2 points for black people who are sitting at management level, and there's another 1 point for black females sitting at that. And below that, we've got senior management. Senior management also, it has the black senior managers that are sitting at that level, and they obtain 2 points if they participate correctly. And we also have the black female sitting there, which they get 1 point. You will realize that the 1 point for black female is as an additional. It's like you are counting it twice because you have already counted the black people, which the black female already is included. But we come again and say black female as a standalone item, which means the black female in organization count more. When you employ a black female, that black female will count as under all black people and under black female. So there's a benefit of black female. When we look at the middle management as well, there are 2 points for the black middle management employees and 1 point, an additional point for black female management. We go to the junior management. Junior management, they have given it less points. And I think the reason they have given it less point is because most of the company would like to just employ people at a junior management level and not at higher level. So they said for black people you get 1 point, for female you also get 1 point. And there are 2 points for black disabled people. So if you employ black disabled people, there are 2 points on the scorecard. But having that scorecard, remember the scorecard, you are having a scorecard so that you can get what we call a B certificate or a verification. So at the time where you are going to be verified, there's what we call evidence. You need evidence to show that yes, you have people participating at board level. Yes, you've got black people participating at executive level. You've got people participating at a senior level. So there's evidence that is needed. So, and I'm going to go through that evidence before we close today's session. That evidence comprises of, you need an organogram. And why will you need an organogram of the company? You need it because some people will be claiming that this person is at other executive. But when you look at the reporting lines, it doesn't tell you that this person really is reporting at the right level. So organogram will then propel a verification agency to say, why would the person be reporting to middle management, but yet you are claiming the points that this person is under executive level? So it helps when you look at the broader picture. And you also need to check the CIPC documents, the core documents is called 39, to say if they are saying they've got a black female on the board level, is this person a director registered with CIPC? Because if it's not registered as a CIP, it's just a name. That person is not a director. If a person tells you tomorrow that I am a director of this particular company, go and check with the CIPC to check if indeed they are the director of the company, because that will give them a benefit, and that will give them also the accessible voting rights. And you also need the IDs for all the directors. You also need to see the EEA form where people declare whether they are black, whether they are colored or Indian, and whether they are South Africans. Because when we look at the broad-based black economic empowerment, it's all about the benefits of the black people. So you need to look at that EEA 1 because it will give you the information. And you also need to check if all the employees have contracts, because you cannot, the company cannot claim that they have people that they have employed while there's no contract. Contract is an agreement between the employee and the employer that gives confidence to both. This one says, deliver this service on my behalf and I will remunerate you this. So that is outlined in the contract. And also the pay slips. We need to see the pay slips if these people have been paid, and particularly when we look at the executive director, if a person says, I am executive director, are they paid the right salary? We then come to what we call salary comparison, where we say, if a black person is earning 10,000, is the counterpart, the white counterpart, also earning that 10,000? Because it's important to make sure that people on the same level, they earn more or less the same. You can't find another one earning 10,000, another one 2,000. Already there'll be discrepancies. You can see that another one is above another one. So we need the pay slips. And if a person says, I'm a board of director, has this person participated in board meetings? And that evidence, we get it from the board minutes. The minutes will say these people attended, and they will tell you, you will see also the attendant register to say, yes, they have attended. The minutes will also mention the participation of that particular meeting. And the other thing is that the company, it is the responsibility of the company to submit or to comply with the Department of Labor regulations. When I started, I said management control is informed by Employment Equity Act. So Employment Equity Act propels an employer to submit evidence to them to say, these are so many people that I employ. And we see that with the latest amendments, when you submit your EA2 and EA4, it will say, yes, you employ these people at top management, and what is the salaries? It also needs to see the salaries. Previously, the salaries were not there, but now we see that the salaries are also important to check. At this level, top management, yes, these are the salaries, and we can always gauge to say, yeah, they are correct. So Department of Labor needs that information, because they use that information to check the transformation of our country. It's through that report where we see how many black people that we have on top management as CEO, CFO, and so that report gives us a good information, because it's a scientific report. And we also need to see on the payroll to say how were you paid. The pay slip, does it talk to the payroll? Because sometimes you might get a pay slip that does not talk to the payroll. So you will check the payroll and check the pay slip and say, yes, this person has been paid. And the ID number also is important, that will tie to the payroll system. And when it comes to the disability, maybe let's talk about disability a bit. When it comes to the disability, the disability needs to, people who are disabled, they need to disclose themselves. And we have to check when we do the verification, the doctor's note confirming the nature of disability. And that person also needs to confirm that they are disabled. And they will do that using a form EEA1. They will sign it. And they also need to have a contract with the employer to say, yes, we are employed and we are paid this amount of money. So that is in a nutshell the management control and the evidence. So we need to be aware of the scorecard, the evidence, and that is the information on management control. To get more videos, please subscribe to my channel. Mokgadi Rameetse, B Simplified, will be releasing more videos. Thank you so much. God bless you.